For our 7th episode, we do an Eat This, Drink That first when Ollie brings on a guest to the show. Check it out. You guys, I think we are live for our new episode of Eat This, Drink That. We've had a great season so far. We've done 6 episodes devoted to bourbon. This was inspired by our resident Steve. Thought we should do a whole season on bourbon, and that's what we're doing. We're mixing up bourbon and foods that go with it, and Ali's presenting today his Eat That. So Ali, what is your Eat That for this week?
You know, it's crazy. As much as I want to jump into this, I'm also doing a little double checking here to make sure we're live on my Facebook. Okay. And I'm just, is anyone else confirming that right now? How about that?
I cannot confirm it, but I will say this. If you guys have been watching our show, you usually just see the 3 of us. And today we are going into uncharted territory with our first guest for the podcast. Believe it or not, after 50 or so episodes, we have Ryan Fernandez as our first guest. So I'm going to let Ali set him up, though, properly.
Oh, yeah. This is great. This feels like a real show. So for everyone watching, you're not the only ones in the dark. So are Ryan and Steve, more so than usual. It is my pleasure to announce our first guest on Eat This, Drink That, Mr. Ryan Fernandez. Ryan Fernandez is a chef and owner of Southern Junction, a Texas-ish barbecue eatery that merges 2 very distinct areas where he grew up, Kerala, India, and Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
Like so many immigrants who embrace new traditions with old, Ryan's cooking is an evolution of Texas barbecue through the eyes of an Indian immigrant. His India is a land of grillers and meat lovers, and despite the exotic undertones, there is a synergy, gentlemen, between these 2 food cultures as he blends smoothly hunks of smoky Texas brisket and aromatic biryani. And it all goes down in freaking Buffalo, New York. What? Your minds are blown. Smack, smack, smack. I didn't even have to cook anything on this episode. Mad flex. Ryan, take it away. He's going to cook for us. I'm going to chill.
Oh, man. Well, Texas barbecue, right? We were talking about this the other day. If I had said Texas barbecue up here, all my friends back home are going to go, what the hell are you doing up there? Like, come on. You're not in Texas right now, so if you're going to do that, you better do it back home. So, Texas, it's a little bit of everything. So, nice. You want me to go and tell you guys a little bit about...
I think you should do your thing, baby. Cook and talk and talk and cook. Let's go.
Ali, you just ate here when you were in Buffalo for your other thing, right?
Guilty as charged. Hell yeah, I did.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
Yes.
Oh, we had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
So speaking of chunks of brisket, so a lot of times when you have brisket trim, you're going to make sausage out of it, which I do. But then I took all that brisket trim, confit it in a bunch of tallow, let it go for, we smoke it for about 4 hours. Just let it go super slow and then braise it in the tallow overnight. So it kind of melts and it's just unctuous. It's
so just awesome. For clarification, when he's saying trim brisket, he's actually talking about taking a whole 12 to 15 plus pound Packer brisket, gigantic. Yep. And you have to trim a lot of fat and just like the stuff you don't want to get that perfect smoking brisket. So he's actually talking about uncooked portions of brisket that he's then smoking and then confiting. And that's craft brisket, right? Like some people would just get it already trimmed and kind of roll with it. But if you want to do it like basically the way Aaron Franklin made it famous, you got to go kind of the old school way here, So to use Steve's analogy, he's making his own juice. He's making his own
Ryan,
juice.
I'm more curious what tallow is. What's tallow for the confit?
Oh, dude.
Oh, so basically we trim out, right, all that brisket fat that's on the top. Not all of it, just
Okay.
get it down to like a quarter inch or something like that. Cube it up, save it, cook it down, and then just render out all that fat, and then just leave it in the smoker for a little bit, and use it for something or the other. This is the something or
Okay.
the other, so we just kind of
Okay.
tons of different uses. So we wrap it in tallow once in a while, but for the most part, it all goes into just like big piles of shredded smoked beef.
So
And
tallow is the
tallow.
equivalent of lard, basically,
Okay,
right,
that's
Ryan?
all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how
And-
Yeah, I should
McDonald's
have
used to
answered
make
that
their
better.
fries back in the day, to be
Okay.
honest. Back in
And
the
it's
day.
beef
Oh, yeah.
lard, right?
All of it. Yep.
Wait,
So it's all
yeah.
beef trimmings. So,
Okay.
and then I get all my
Very
beef
cool.
from Creekstone. So yeah, it's pretty fun stuff. Involved process, but way worth it. And I don't have to go out to the store to buy more stuff that I don't need. So it works out real good.
And I mean, that's a
It's
name dropper too, because Creekstone is like a lot of steakhouses are using it. Apparently, a little known fact with Creekstone Farms is I was told by someone who does like halal YouTube videos that Creekstone is, if you're someone who keeps halal, which is the Muslim equivalent of kosher,
Yep.
Creekstone fulfills that. So, it's a pretty,
Exactly.
yeah, it's a good product. It comes with the price too. It comes with the price tag for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It
It is a little bit of an adventure getting that. It was getting it up here, but as I've been open about going on almost 3 years now. So I've shown that consistency, getting in all those case buys, and now I can get it on the regular. So we're good now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it
And
was.
where I'm
The
on their
food
website right
underworld.
now. Where is the farm itself?
They're in
Dang,
Kansas,
no.
right? So yeah,
Oh, good one.
they're
I've
out in
never even
Kansas,
went.
if I remember right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
This is
Ali, what
cool.
did
Arkansas
you
City.
have? Ali, what did you have when you were at Ryan's restaurant? What did you
Well, the
eat?
first thing we did was, first of all, we connected because I was in Buffalo doing a new show, but I've been in Buffalo before because we did Cheap Eats there.
Right.
One of my chefs at Cheap Eats was like, dude, you should totally. Oh, I think I asked him about Southern Junction because there was an episode on Munchies, the Vice show about it, and he's like, dude, Ryan used to work for us. He was the chef when I was shooting at Cheap Eats back in 2018. So straight up, we DM'd. As soon as I got off the plane, I went straight to his spot. The first thing we did, Ryan, you remember what we did? The first thing? He asked me, do you like to drink? And he poured me, and you tell it, man.
I mean, I always get cocktails bottled from next door because I'm in an incubator space, and we have this really nice restaurant next door to us. So it's called Waxlight, and they have just crazy cocktails. So I always have a little something sitting on my window shelf. So I was like, hey man, do you drink? And he goes, he does. And we had a pre-batch Manhattan, and then just went downhill from there.
I mean, straight up. First thing was just drinking Manhattans in like the plastic to-go containers, like you're getting wonton soup, because that's how chefs roll. And then we started going right, like that. Mine was deeper, to be honest. It was deeper.
Wait.
Well, that's vinegar.
You guys had the drinks out of there?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's how they
can't
drink.
have glass. You don't want glass in this kitchen. Someone's gonna break it and step on something.
Yeah. Straight up. That's how chefs consume. So we're sipping Manhattans. The first thing I had Ryan see, for clarification here, because we have two Ryans. First, I had to try the brisket. He whips this freaking brisket out. It's got stupid wiggle, which, if you ever know anything about brisket, like what separates the men from the boys, what separates a $35 a pound brisket from like maybe something 20-ish is like, it's like a freaking Jell-O mold. Like, look.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Tim's cutting it, so I got to take it back right now. But
yeah. And that's what happens
for a good reason. I was like, "Where's he going?" But then he brought
they're in service. They're slinging. It's Saturday, dude. At freaking 2 p.m. So
they're still cutting everything over there. So
yeah. And that's so beautiful. Ryan F. Is that what makes it technically Texas barbecue is that you're playing around with very good brisket, right?
Oh no, so that is just straight up Texas brisket, salt, pepper.
Okay.
I think I saw it was like Hellberg down in Texas that said salt, pepper, and a whole lot of prayer. But I mean, that's my version of it. So, but that's so for the brisket. There's pretty good Texas expat population up here,
Okay.
and usually in the mornings and stuff, they're the first ones in line. So I don't mess with the brisket. That's straight trimmed, salt, pepper, and a
Okay.
couple other things, but uh, just regular. I
Wow.
mean, anyone ever says they only put salt and pepper in their brisket, for the most part, they're lying. But
It just happens to be the dominant flavor. But you know what? That's a good
right,
question, Steve, because he's literally going to show us the ish. Because
yep.
Okay.
the ish, yeah, he's literally going to cook up the
So
ish right now.
the
Okay.
ish is
Awesome.
what comes off of that. So basically, I'm from Kerala, and it's a state in the southernmost part of India. So
Okay.
India, and then the very, very tip of India is where I'm from. I
Okay.
was born there. I pretty much spent until I was 16. I was there, and then moved here to Dallas, Plano specifically. Finished up high school there. Went to college out in Lubbock, and jumped between Lubbock, Austin, and Dallas for the past, I don't know, like almost 30 years. So I mean, I've been here in Buffalo for this is going to be year 5. So
Okay.
just been jumping around. I mean, Dallas and Lubbock were my main areas.
Okay.
So I, learned how to smoke in West Texas or, out in the Panhandle area, but uh, it was mostly for fun, a lot of caterings out of Texas Tech football games and, just generally having fun. So I had at that time, a lot of brisket that wasn't being used up. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this? So I took that and tried to do my version of a Kerala beef fry, which is what we're going to do today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And just so you know, beef fry is something that you're not going to see at your average Indian restaurant that's cranking out the buffet for lunch. Okay. Beef fry is something like I kind of grew up with, like definitely the more meat centric kind of
Yep.
areas of the Indian subcontinent. But imagine the curry without the juice. It's like
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
stir fry, but with all that Indian curry paste that
Yep.
essentially cooks down. So it's almost
Yeah.
like a dry, like fond, like a dryish fond, and then on top of that, well, you're going to see the protein he uses because that's the
Right.
whole other thing.
So starts with onions, a whole bunch of onions, and fresh curry leaves. So, uh,
Yes.
up in Buffalo, New York. Well, the cool thing is there's a lot of people in Toronto that come down here. I have an uncle in Markham, and we all have like little curry leaf plants growing in our backyard. So I can always get curry leaves any time of the year. It's
So
awesome.
you're growing. Basically, he's growing up in Canada. I've heard that story before.
Oh no, that's just right. Hey, there's a toddy shop in Canada. Just so you know, I did not know that, but they sell Iraq or they make Iraq,
Wait,
which
of
is
what?
just
Toddy? Isn't that a drink?
like, well, Arak, like Sri Lankan Arak,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's
um,
a high
from
proof
palm from
liquor, right?
yep. So from like
Yeah.
coconut palms and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I
Oh,
just
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
out like a week ago. There's a little distillery out there out north of Toronto that does that.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm gonna
No
have to go
way.
check it out
oh
because
man.
I'm excited for that.
Dude, I'm excited to freaking get a little hooch going on there. That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So traditionally, or at least the way my mom used to do it, we used to pressure cook this outside, and it would be chunks of beef that just got pressure cookered and then thrown in a pan, quick high heat saute. Instead of pressure cooking it, I just cook it down as a confit, but I smoke it first and then go from
Mhm.
there. So that's where the Texas comes in, right? So,
Okay.
and then you just fry up a bunch of onions till they're basically almost burnt. You want to get like that dark flavor to it. My hood
Mhm.
system just came down, so I don't know if that hears it. But
So
then
they're
you take this good
caramelized. The
stuff,
onions are like fully caramelized.
fully
The
caramelized, and
onions.
then some. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
And then some.
Regular old white onions,
Okay.
and then you throw in this lovely smoked
I can
brisket.
hear it.
I know. Dude,
Right?
it's
Cool.
so good.
Hey, what
Just kind of
oil
let
are
that go
you?
for a minute.
What oil do you use, Ryan?
Oh, that's the best part, coconut oil.
Oh, that's coconut. Okay.
So Kerala, the state I'm from, in India, it literally, it's the land of coconuts. You can't walk 5 feet without hitting a coconut tree or, running into the crop. It's the actual prevalent
Okay.
item there. So yeah, so coconut oil, curry leaves, and then you just kind of let it go for a little bit. Not too long though. Once that's
Wow.
getting right around there,
Uh-huh.
I've got some
Oh,
of my spice rub. So
Oh.
this is like basically it's my version of a garam masala. So it's got a lot of coriander, cumin, chili powders, fenugreek, fennel, list goes on, right? So I think it's about 12 spices that go in there, toast it, grind it, and then just hold it, use
Real
it.
quick, for the chili powder, because, it's funny, I feel like a lot of times, like, when you're buying chili powder, I mean, shoot, technically paprika counts, right? But a lot of times, like, it's not really intense and spicy. Are you using
Mhm.
stuff like cayenne or Kashmiri chili peppers? Because I know, like, when you're talking about Indian spices and chili powders, it gets
Mhm.
pretty dynamic in terms of heat, right?
So am I cooking it for my family or am I cooking it for service? That's where it comes down to. So when
Let's
it's
start
for
with
service,
service.
so for service, we use Kashmiri chili powder because it's, got a lot of color to it. It's
Right.
lower on the heat level. For home, so I make Texas Twinkies over here. I don't know if you guys have run into those.
No.
It's a big Dallas. I've seen it in Dallas. It started over at Hutchins over in McKinney, I think.
Uh-huh.
I used to eat that for lunch all the freaking time. So I came up here and I was like, why don't we do it? And it's a hollowed out jalapeno with brisket, cream cheese, wrapped in bacon, thrown on the smoker, and then you throw it on a flat top.
Oh my God.
It's awesome.
That sounds great.
And I ate it for lunch for so long in my 20s, 30s, whatever. And I came up here and I'm like, well, no one's making that. So, I'll see what happens with it. And so I take
Texas
out, you
Twinkie.
pour out all the jalapenos and then you grind it up, the insides. You dehydrate it, you grind it up, and all the seeds make like the most monstrous little chili powder you can ever get, and it's kind of evil, but it's great. So
So you're
you cut that
actually
in with a little habanero. That's
So
the
you're
homework.
making your own powder by de-stemming jalapenos and then drying it out?
Well, I mean, you don't want to throw it out, but yeah,
Oh my God.
Right.
yeah,
So let me tell you guys this. When I first
that's
met
the tough
Ryan,
part.
we're just like talking and talking, talking. He's like, and then we had dinner next door at the restaurant where we got the cocktails. He's
Right.
like this. He's like, like I'm not like a real chef like these guys. Just take in what the freaking heck he did. Because I mean, when I've de-stemmed and freaking taken seeds out of jalapenos, it goes in the compost bin. I'm not dehydrating it and turning it into powder. You are nuts, dude. All right, continue.
I mean, I wish you guys could smell this.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah, I
this
do
is,
too. I
What
wish
is
I was
this?
eating this.
Same.
you just kind of let it go.
So the brisket itself's already
So
shredding
it's kind of my
inside.
version of barbacoa.
Okay. The brisket looks like it's already shredding by
Hmm.
itself in the pan, or you're like falling apart in the
It
pan.
is.
Okay.
So this was actually Tim was right. So this was Tim's idea because he's over there cutting stuff up
Okay.
right now. But we can leave it in chunks when it comes out of the oven, and then when we prepare it, we kind of just throw it in there with the onions. So it shreds as it goes. That way it
Okay.
doesn't dry it out. So and it's
Good point.
Creekstone's already like upper choice prime. So it's super fatty. You don't really need to add too much oil or butter or any of that stuff onto it. So
Right.
yeah, extra curry leaves, and really that's all it is. You add salt to season, little vinegar to deglaze, and one more thing, a shit ton of cilantro.
Yes.
Cilantro. All right.
Dudes.
So, I mean, Ali's had this one,
Yeah, I did.
so you can describe the flavor to it, right?
So what is really cool is like, when you think about certain, like, like we can have this conversation. Where do you get the most beefy flavor? Do you get it when you bite into a juicy steak, or do you get it into like stew? Do you know what I mean? So with curry, with Indian curry, usually the flavor is actually coming off essentially the gravy on rice, right? What's
Right.
great about
Right.
dry fry is that it's the exterior. You know what I mean? You had this basically, like, the best way to describe it to me is like Indian fond that's just
Okay.
kind of become crisp and dried out. And I think like and now, Ryan, this is a question I had for you. Did you always realize you had to confit it, like cook it in the fat as well? Like, would that just keep it from making your dry fry too dry, or why you didn't have
So
to add
much,
additional oil?
so much trial and error. So we started off with the very first time I did it, it was because I couldn't sell a half case of beef ribs, so I had just beef ribs sitting around. This was, I mean, 2 years ago in Buffalo, and they're like, "Why do you have that, and why is it so expensive?" And I'm like, "Well, fair point." Um, that was one way to utilize it, whatever I had left over. And then the pandemic hit, and all I could get up here was chuck, and chuck was, you know, quite, at least the ones I had, was so much leaner. So when I did it the old way, when I chopped it, smoked it all the way, it ended up being really dry, and I had to just keep throwing in fat, butter, everything into it. So once we got out of pandemic mode and beef supplies were much better, had all this trim, and I was like, why don't I just kind of just let it go? It actually started with Leroy and Lewis. Like Evan was doing a demo where he does his beef cheeks, and he has them going in the confit forever. And I was like, man, that's smart. That's awesome. So I was like, why don't I try my version of it and see where it goes? And that's kind of how we got to this.
Awesome. Hey, question: is Southern India a lot of rice dishes? Would this be served over rice, or just
Rice
served
are
on its own?
usually on a paratha, or in Kerala you call it a parota. So it's
Dude, it's so good. It's the butterier version of naan, basically.
Oh, okay.
right.
Like.
I have it
And
on my menu.
Ryan, you might be able to enlighten me on this, because I feel like people know what naan is, which is more like almost like kind of like when you're eating the crust of Neapolitan pizza, that's kind of naan-ish, right? It's got char, it's fluffy, it's whatever. When I have paratha, like it's, I mean, for a better lack of a better term, it's like greasier, like it's cooked in more fat, it drips a bit, and it's like way more decadent. It's just
Okay.
So it's layered, right? So it's way I explain it when we have it here is it's non-meats croissant, because it's kind of layered, it puffs up, and then when you take it out, the butter kind of seeps out of it, and it's really cool. Like it's just the way you eat it, and it soaks up all the fat from that beef or brisket or curry sauce, whatever you want to throw on it, and it's cool.
Amazing.
That's the best
Do
way
you
to
still
put it.
cook it? You still cook it in a wood-fired oven, like naan, or?
No, you can. So they're pre-made ahead on a flat top, so you can actually flat top it and go with
nice.
it. That's the other thing, because I don't have access to a tandoor here. The way my cooking setup is, I can't use that. So easiest way. So when I started out, when it was just me cooking on Saturdays, I used to actually have a little cast iron pan in the firebox and just cook them to order. And then I look up and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta lie. I can't do that.
But isn't paratha mostly fried? I mean, I feel like that's a big distinction. Naan is dough that's baked, char baked, really, right? And paratha is actually fried.
Paratha, at least in Kerala, it's more flat top. It's more on a cast iron. The pudi,
but with fat. But there's,
fried,
but you know what I mean?
bread.
Yeah.
Lots of fat. Yeah, lots of fat. And if you're going to deep fry it, that's when you get the pudi, which is like San Antone, what's it called? Puppy taco. So
Yeah.
But that's a whole different kind of bread. So
Yeah. But
whole
it
different
is
kind of rabbit hole you can go down.
when you compare like naan, like here's a piece of inedible spoon that you're picking up to have like a bit of curry or whatever versus
Mm-hmm.
paratha, it's like
Mm-hmm.
going to the taco truck and being like, oh, I'm gonna have a carne asada taco, and then going, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have the beef cheek taco, or I'm gonna have it when they cook it in the pan that's like basically all fat and confit. It's just so much richer. I don't know.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's like French bread versus croissant, basically. You
Okay.
know, like,
Right. That's
boom.
exactly.
It's hardcore.
Oh,
There's a lot of lipids happening
over.
in this dish. I'll tell you right now. Between the coconut oil, the freaking confit, and the paratha,
Yeah.
dude, it's beast. It's
I
beast.
should put a salad on my menu soon.
Let's not get crazy.
Hey, what about using the bread and then rice and then all that meat on top of it too? Can you just keep loading up starch on there?
So we do. So I wish I could do that. No one's requested that, but we do
Here
a
comes
thing
Steve.
called a foldy, which I don't know, when you go to a barbecue place in Texas and you take a piece of white bread and throw some meat on it and you fold it, it's like foldy, right? So I do that with a paratha, but we have Napa cabbage, and we make like a jalapeno mint slaw out of it, and then I just let people choose whatever meat they want, and then you do like a coconut curry sauce on it, and then sky's the limit.
Yeah.
They can just kind of stack it up and do whatever the hell they want with it.
Oh, that sounds
I know.
good. I am
shit.
so hungry now.
Dude, it is. I can tell you straight up, living in freaking brisket land, right? Straight up. Like, that brisket has stupid wiggle. If you go and have his brisket, it really doesn't get better. It really doesn't. But then when you have things like the dry fry, like, you're just like, single-handedly, when I went there, it wasn't so much that, I mean, yes, I was having amazing brisket outside of Texas, no doubt. I mean, probably the best brisket I've had outside of Texas, A. B, I was actually having like some of the most satisfying Indian food, South Asian food, Desi food I've ever had. And the funny thing is where I really hit that wasn't even, the dry fry is great. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of knew it'd be that good. I mean, it's a promise. I feel like every South Asian understands if you grew up in this country, because beef curry back home is dry. It's always dry. They overcook it as a culture, and solves these problems threefold. You know what I mean? Between the confit, the coconut oil. I mean, come on, the paratha too. But the chicken. Can you tell them about the chicken? Because that chicken was lit up.
Other stuff on the menu.
So we have, So for the chicken, I've got a version of I wish I had a better name for it. It's like a Trivandrum style butter chicken is the best way to put it. It's smoked chicken thigh over mesquite. So I actually have one guy bringing me cords and cords of mesquite. I don't know where he's getting it from, but he just shows up with bags of it. And so I don't know when the next batch of it's coming in. So I have to use it very sparingly. So when I throw the chicken smoke on, load up a bunch of mesquite wood in the smoker, and I've got a 500-gallon offset smoker, so that's all I've got right now. And it's buddy of mine built it for me. We kind of created it from the ground up, and it's built for very cold temperatures because it can get a little cold up here. So anyway, so the chicken, smoke it, hold it, and then we just sear it off just like I did in the cast iron. And it's with a butter chicken sauce. Best way to describe it is like you've had a tikka, right? Just your generic tikka sauce that you go to an Indian restaurant. But it's more tomatoey and has, from the coconut cream that goes in there, it's got like kind of like a coconut flavor to it. And then I just cook it down. I render it down. So it actually kind of coats the chicken almost like a burn-in. Right? Like it just kind of, it's not dry, but it just coats it. Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing is, generally speaking, when you talk about having Indian food in an Indian restaurant, all this cream, all this yogurt comes in there, and it makes a compelling case for like this kind of velvety texture, right? It's cool.
Yeah, hang on one second.
But you miss out. What you get when you have his stuff is just imagine like bark. Imagine bark, whether it's a hard sear on a burger or a steak. But in this case, it's all those aromatic seasonings. And like chicken, bring it on. Beat it up. Smack it, flip it, rub it down. You know,
You see how that oil kind of separates off of
Yeah.
it and just kind of. So it's not like a very loose curry. It's very thick. And you put it on smoked chicken when you slice it. It just coats it. So every bite you get has that. You can take it off on that one. You've heard it. You've eaten it before.
It's just loaded with flavor, and it's not cut with cream. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Is like it's like having your coffee with freaking. It's like you've been having coffee with cream the whole time, and now you're having your coffee black. You're having espresso.
And then how is that served?
Just sliced and coated, and you can buy it by the pint, or you can buy it in a plate. The plate's what sells the most here. It's like a single meat, double side, kind of just whatever works the best for you.
It's Texas. It's barbecue. It's by the pound. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, you're like like I'm just eating meat.
So it's still just served Texas style.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I grew up with. So I mean, oh man, out in Lubbock, I mean, there's barbecue joints everywhere. In Austin, I was going to Micklewade a lot. Valentina's, La Barbecue, obviously Franklin's. I mean, so the past 30 years of my life has just been Texas barbecue. Like that's just been eating it a lot, and then just cooking it when I can. I had a whole different career, so I decided to switch careers, and like about 10 years ago, decided to get my ass handed to me in a restaurant. Here we go. I'm kind of doing it myself. Still getting it handed to me, but.
That's great.
Now, Ryan or Ali, did you tell him about your guy that does the ribs that you brought to the show in Austin that also uses some different spices?
Yeah, well, what's funny is, I mean, Ryan, like we started talking about it, and I mean, take it because he immediately was like, "Oh yeah, I follow that guy on Instagram."
Oh, okay.
I do.
I wondered. Yeah.
Oh man, I first stop back in Austin, I'm gonna have to try those lamb chops out over there.
I mean, and it's it's pretty wild.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I think I was so excited about. This is just again yet another chapter in what I think is really exciting about barbecue. I think it started with Miguel Vidal and Valentina's Tex-Mex barbecue, and the thing is, like, it just happened. Like, it's still, like, to your point, Steve, you're kind of asking, like, oh, is it served with rice or this or that? He's not doing Indian food. Like, it's Texas barbecue. It's just the season. The rub has got a little bit of oomph, and the sides are changing, and it's been changing for a bit. Its first wave has been like kind of like this. Chefs are coming and going, forget like soggy green beans and like mac and cheese that was made last week. We're going to do like a dope potato salad and like, a slaw that's not soaked in mayonnaise. Right. But now it's like, well, what are we putting on the rub? And why can't we do other things? Yeah.
It's fusion. I mean, it's fusion.
Yeah. I was going to say, sorry, go ahead,
Ryan. I keep cutting Ryan C off.
Oh, no,
well, I was going to ask, I was saying, since this show is eat this, drink that, I wanted to, and you mentioned there's a restaurant right next to you, Ryan Fernandez, and I was curious what bourbons you would pair with your own food.
With my food, so I'm more of a Scotch person lately.
Very cool.
The peaty, yeah. So, stuff like Ardbeg or, I won't lie. I've been on a Wee Beastie kick lately because I did
no way
not too long ago. So
it's amazing stuff. Wee Beastie 5 year.
I missed it. What is it called?
Wee Beastie.
Yeah, Ardbeg Wee Beastie, 5 years, their
Yep.
youngest whiskey they do. It's a powerful kick. Ardbeg, the house, is the most peated whiskey from the malting floor on, but it's
Yep.
also the purest smoke, and it goes right hand in hand with barbecue because they have this
Mhm.
purifying arm inside their still. So
Oh
the
yeah.
heavier, weird congeners like medicinal flavors like iodine and Band-Aid and all the weird stuff you get from Lafroig and Lagavulin, those are gone. Yeah, you get pure creosote, pure barbecue,
Band-Aid.
pure barbecue,
It's cool.
like sitting in a campfire.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And the
feel like
only
I just arrived at an alien planet. Steve flexed so hard. And the crazy thing is, Ryan F. was right there with him.
Yeah.
So basically, we're talking scotch, right? With
Yep.
band aids?
That's a taste profile? Band-Aid
That is a
flavor?
taste profile.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead,
What's
Ryan
one?
F.
oh no, that's something my girlfriend would say. This stuff tastes like Band-Aids. That's
That's,
she would not like that. No, but on rotation, I'll show you some real quick.
Oh,
so
damn.
he went scotch. He went scotch.
But yeah,
Okay.
but I used to do a lot of High West Campfire,
Yeah.
but lately, I can't find that up here. But lately it's been a bunch of balcones.
I drink
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Sweet.
I
Yep.
drink
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
And
Down
then,
at the coffee shop, they sell that.
yep,
Not bad. Yeah.
it's hard to get up here. And then Tommy Rotter, it's a very local. They make really good gin, but they have this one. This is their whiskey, but they have this one bourbon barrel aged gin or something. It's like 120 proof. And anytime I do like a private event or any kind of catering party or something like that, and people ask, what goes with that, and I always bring in some kind of gin or something just straight like this Falcone stuff. It's incredible. So something with a lot
That's
of because
amazing.
if you're doing like straight brisket, right? Forget the curry stuff. Just like actual, just sliced brisket. You want, in my opinion, at least, you want some kind of whiskey that's just going to slap you around a little bit too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that first one called? The one that Ali, you said that you drank. What was that one called?
Falcones,
Yeah, that one.
True
True Blue.
Blue. Yeah,
Yep.
from Balcones.
But I haven't had the cask strength. I've had baby blue. It's the cheaper one.
This is like 65.
Jesus.
65?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally
So
agree with you. For what you're serving, you want a higher proof. You want barrel
yep.
strength. You want
Yep.
as you said, you want to be punched by the
Yep.
bourbon, yeah, or the
Yeah.
whiskey,
Just little,
whatever you're drinking.
right. And we always do like little tiny little shot glass things of it. Or I don't know. I use 2-ounce sauce cups because I'm not fancy like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing better than doing like expensive booze in little kitchen shot glasses. It's great.
Yeah.
It's almost like having
Awesome.
like that reminds me of just like when you're having like lights out omakase sushi and you're just having that. You bought the expensive cold sake and I'm like, don't chug it, please. It goes down so smooth. Like little cup, just a little taste, a little
Sip
tickle.
away. Yep.
So, we're not
And
draining
by the end of the
bottles.
night, it will catch up to you. So you're good.
Hey, Steve. I was gonna ask, unless Ali, you had something, but I was gonna ask Steve. So, what were you imagining as our drink expert? What were you imagining when you were seeing Ryan cook his food and do his thing over there? As
So
far
I
as
went
bourbon.
off on a couple tangents. The first easiest tangent is the one that we already did in the show. I think the third week, the sling, and the sling is just the citrus juice, your simple syrup, and the bourbon. But we created a very different one, Ryan. Well, it's not that different. I didn't just make this up. Other versions of this exist. A little less lemon juice, like very little, quarter, apple juice, and high test bourbon with simple syrup. And I actually used a honey to go with it. and then shake that. For your cooking, and you can put it in a big Collins glass, so you can actually make this in bulk and have, like a 6-8 ounce glass of a cocktail that you're sipping on. And for this, so for the cocktails all season, we've been using 100 proof, so it's a little higher test.
Right.
And it was only 2 ounces in that cocktail. For your food, you could go up to like a 3 ounce pour. Have a little more bourbon in there. A bigger glass.
Let's do
it. Slow burn. The apple juice, the honey will go with all those beautiful flavors that you're getting out of there. Since it's a dry. How did you call it? A dry
fry.
Dry fry. That richer kind of apple juice cocktail is going to go really well with it. And then completely out of left field, since we're not just talking bourbon, because of all the coconut. Remember, we did a whole series of tiki drinks, guys, and I made my own coconut cream because I didn't want to use store-bought coconut cream.
He's also crazy. That's what
that cocktail.
That is cool.
Any of those cocktails.
Yeah.
Any of those cocktails will go
awesome.
with his food. Yeah, tiki heaven with this food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say something sweet. Something sweet works because the seasonings are the seasonings, the spices are so aggressive. You know what dry fries like, you guys? It's like freaking caramelized onion. You know what I mean? You're just like oomph, a lot of oomph. It doesn't get more oomphy than that, literally because he uses caramelized onions in it. But like, there's no liquid to cut it, Like, just think about that.
So what were you about to say, Ryan F., about tiki drinks? I'm curious now.
Oh, no. Not exactly tiki, but when I did that spot with Artbag, they had DJ Barbecue come in, and he did his version. Christian did his version of a Mai Tai with a Wheat Beastie, and it was fat washed with coconut oil, and then they topped it with it. It sounds weird, but it was really good. And they shaved up. What did we do? It's like ancho chilies and like all kinds of stuff that we just kind of powdered up on top of it. Yeah, and it was like a very powerful Mai Tai is the best way to describe it. And
that's awesome.
And it's a Wheat Beastie, so it still slapped you around a little bit because that's what it does. But
so that's funny. The cocktail I thought of was a Mai Tai, and you can always play around with your base ingredients, the spirit, to what it doesn't just have to be rum. You could go bourbon, you could go scotch.
Interesting. Wow.
And this whole fat wash. I mean, I love that you mentioned fat wash because fat wash cocktails are a thing right now. Not everywhere, obviously.
They are? Really?
Yeah.
Kind of. Took the words out of our mouths, Ryan F.
Yeah. You could that dry fry kind of screams for a fat wash cocktail.
What's a fat wash cocktail? I'll bite. What is it?
Who's getting that one?
You want to tell them how they made that, Ryan? How they made the Ardbeg one?
We just kind of combined our Wheat Beastie and coconut oil and in a mason jar and just popped it in the freezer for a few days. And that was like the base level of it. That's all we did. We also used to, a restaurant I used to work at, we had Iberico ham, and we used to infuse, kind of get the fat off of that and throw that in the freezer with some, what was it, Evan Williams or something like that. Just regular old bourbon and just throw it in the freezer for a few days. So you get that.
You freeze it with fat and then you sift it?
Strain it out. You strain it out.
Strain it out. Okay.
After a few days. So you still have that flavor from it. And I'm no expert on it at all. Like that was just me following directions and me asking a lot of questions and all that stuff.
Yeah. So Ryan F., that coconut oil that you used to wash the whiskey, was it already cooked in with the meat? It had fat in it, or was it just fresh coconut oil?
Just about Yeah, I
Okay.
just went out and got the best coconut oil I could get, so it wasn't,
Okay.
I didn't really do much else to it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try that version. So I saw it first in Spanish restaurants, just using that fatty, the very end of the ham when they start having to trim
Yep.
up the leg, and they can't actually serve it anymore. They would take those chunks and just throw it in the bottle. And then, you're almost
Yeah.
infusing fat into the whiskey. That's all it is.
That,
It's an
that was
infusion.
on my prep list for
Yeah.
so long. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No
that's
way.
what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the fry guy there. I just fried stuff for a very, very talented group of people. But I mean, that's how you learn, right? So
You can
Whoa.
infuse any spirit you want. Like for margaritas, you know how we talked about that jalapeno simple syrup thing? Well, I made a different simple syrup a couple of weeks ago, ginger and lemon peel. And I said, you can also do this
Yeah.
with jalapenos. Well, you can just take those jalapenos and throw them in your Blanco bottle and leave them there. And it infuses into the spirit itself. So
Yeah.
then that's your one of your base ingredients is just an infused spirit. So that's what fat wash is. You're just
well,
infusing more fat somewhere else.
yeah, we used to
Man.
take mint simple and get some High West double rye, and
Yeah.
I forget where we got the mangoes. Yeah, we just got fresh mangoes, mint simple,
Ooh.
double rye, muddle it all up together, strain it out, pebble ice. It was game over. It was that was the jam back then. I haven't done that in a while,
Sounds
but
good.
shit.
That goes. I mean, that's your bourbon. That's your whiskey cocktail with your food. A
Yeah, I
mango
mean,
infused whiskey. Whoa.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw it online somewhere. I don't know even know where I got it, but I think we just call it whiskey mango tango or something like that. But that might have been after
Awesome.
many drinks.
Yeah.
Now that's a good name. I would order. Are you kidding? I would order that in a heartbeat.
Mango Tango.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whiskey mango tango.
Do
Ali,
that
was
in the
there any
Coors
other
Light.
things? Was there any other things you wanted to cover with Ryan today, Ali?
Man, honestly, I'm just walking away going. Now, I honestly like. What's kind of strange is this is our bourbon season, but I'm reinvigorated into look into the Mai Tai again. But now, I mean, I feel like this has been all about tweaking, right? And I understand tweaking food. I definitely understand tweaking barbecue. But now I'm looking back, going, I want to tweak Steve's Mai Tai recipe to
With
bourbon.
bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Yes, straight up. Right?
Yep,
Why not? I mean,
yep.
it's an easy ask, really, because I already have whiskey lying around, and yeah, that's it's definitely got my wheels turning. And I'm thinking about tweaking my simple syrup. Like I'm tweaking. Like I literally want to do next time we do simple syrup, I'm going to put cardamom in it. Boom.
Why not?
Period.
hmm
Why not?
Period. Why not?
Works
Yeah.
really well. I've
I
done that
saw
before
a
on the
lot
show.
of.
Yeah.
I've been looking at. So I want to go over Ryan's restaurant, and I looked at your Instagram during the show. So it's Southern
Mhm.
Junction
Yep,
716. Is that
yep,
correct?
yep. Southern
Southern
Junction seven one
Junction
six.
716 on Instagram, and I did
Yep,
see some of the posts have cardamom featured on it, and so I think that's
yep.
where Ali got his little simple syrup idea, possibly.
Yeah, because I've got. I mean, the cornbread I make is brown butter cardamom cornbread. So,
Oh, that's
um,
Okay.
right. Yeah, Steve, forget
yeah.
rice. Like, you know what I ate with him? I had
What?
brisket, a chunk of brisket to test the goods. A, right? A. B,
It's this guy
brisket
from Texas.
biryani, then the dry fry, then the chicken, and in between he had cardamom cornbread. That was just,
Oh,
and I'll tell you,
That's
when
my
you
jam.
have it, there's certain things that you're kind of like, oh, what an interesting direction. Indian aromatic spices and baking go
Well,
hand
that's
in
yeah.
the
hand.
cardamom cornbread. I'm on your Instagram right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cardamom cornbread. I
Nice.
want that.
It's so good, and it makes it's as easy and understandable and consumable as freaking chai at Starbucks. Like you'll
Oh,
never think twice again about like, I don't know, isn't chai for Indian restaurants? Like, yeah, right. It's at Starbucks,
So
you know.
I had a guest from Kerala about 3 days ago come in, had the cornbread, I think, he came and goes, there's a Malayali version of this, and it's called, I don't know what the English word for it is, it's called Vatayapam, and it's like it's a very specific Southern Indian cake, and somehow I accidentally made my cornbread taste just like that, and I was like, holy shit, that's
No
cool.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't
bullshit.
intentional, but it was like, I'm cooking from memory, basically what what I remember it tasting like and what I want it to taste like, and then kind of work backwards from there and figure it out. So,
Well, I
but it was
also
cool.
like that you're not bound. Someone said it, either you said it or Ali said it about your cooking. You're not one of those chefs. Chefs classically trained who went to school for 4 years get bound up in their head with all these very specific regimented things they have to do, and you are
Right.
just going off of your heart and your memory and what you
Yep.
love and
Absolutely.
creating things that are freaking amazing. I can't wait. I want to come to Buffalo
It's fun.
for a football game and go eat there.
Yeah.
Like,
Bill's
no
game tomorrow.
joke,
Yeah,
it's worth
yeah,
it.
big game. So, just on a side note, since I know you guys are probably close to wrapping up, a lot of things were just thrown out in the ether about flavors. Ryan F., next week is our last episode for this whole bourbon thing. Ali and Ryan now have a lot of bourbon in their house because I sent them blind bottles that we're going to taste. So I'm running them through 5 bourbons, all different. They're going to learn what
Nice.
yeah. You guys don't know there's a 5th one. I have a surprise 5th that I threw in there. It was supposed to only be 4. We now have 5. Anyway, they're going to learn what their style is because there's so many styles. So you guys and Ali, you said I got to play around with this Mai Tai version. So mango puree has been thrown out. Cardamom's been thrown out. Obviously, in a Mai, you get those pineapple flavors, coconut flavors out of tiki drinks. What about mango and cardamom and a little coconut oil and some bourbon? We're going to figure out a recipe. So at the end of next week's episode, after all our blind tasting, we're doing this.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
hell
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are going to have some
I
fun
am.
with that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like tipsy, getting like just trying to buy a ticket off the gate agent at the airport so I can then go eat at the junction. At the
Get over here.
junction. I know.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
You're not going to be on the road next week, are you, Ali?
No, sir.
Yeah.
No,
Good.
sir. Not for a
So
minute.
you'll just be drunk in your house.
Oh, I've got a big day because that same day I have to go to it's like a fundraiser for the Humane Society of Austin, and I'm a presenter. So like I gotta put on the theme is 70s, so I'm gonna show up in a crazy 70s shirt, which I'm gonna go buy today. But then after doing this, I gotta be like, ugh, and then go to this event, which obviously has alcohol as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna be tearing it up Saturday night thanks to you.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan F., we'll send you the link afterwards so you can watch these guys.
Amazing. Please send it.
Ryan, thank you for what's cool too is thank you for letting us into your kitchen. It's kind of cool to see what's sort of naturally happening as well. That's awesome.
Well,
and
it's
for
barbecue.
making that dish for us.
It's fun. Yeah, it's
Dude,
way
can
fun.
I
So
see?
thanks
Can
for
we
having
just
me.
before you go? Can we see the freaking chicken and shit? I mean, you're on a phone. Just show us a little bit of food before you go.
Yeah.
I just damn it, I miss it.
Hold on.
Let's do it.
Let me see what he's. Hey Tim,
You
got
saying
any
just
chicken
bring it,
over there?
Ollie? You're saying bring the camera?
Dude, he's gonna bring us. Here we go. Wah, 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 wah.
you're Dunzo.
The post on his Instagram right now is one whole chicken. That's the newest post.
Oh,
and
really?
It looks unbelievable.
It's like it's
don't
crazy.
have chicken.
It is.
It's gone.
Very.
It's
No,
gone
it's
for
all
the
gone.
day.
That makes sense.
Dude, classic
Of course
Texas
it is.
barbecue sold out. And it's
Sold
3
out.
in the afternoon over there. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Wah,
done. We
wah.
like I said we had a busy lunch. It's all Dunzo. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That works.
Good.
No
It's
problem.
all good. It's
Okay.
all good. I know what I ate.
Cool.
It was delicious.
Awesome.
Well,
Man,
thanks for
it's
having
great
me
meeting
on.
you.
This was awesome.
Thank you
This
so
was
much
cool.
for letting us into your world here for the past hour.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
was great.
And thank you, Ali, for your idea this week. Thank you for your.
It's my
Eat
new
This.
thing. Now, you're not the only producer, Ryan C. I'll be like, yeah, you know what I'm cooking up today? But hey, like this stuff is like, it's not happening anywhere else. If it is, I don't know, maybe it's happening in freaking Kerala. This is a very
That'd be
special
cool if it
kind of,
was.
combination.
So we just followed Ryan's restaurant on our Instagram, and so maybe we'll do a little post regarding this episode. Maybe we can collab on something, or yeah,
Be awesome.
I'll talk with Ali about it and see what we can do. But very
Cool.
excited to follow you on Instagram as well. It's sorry, say the name of your Instagram handle again.
It's Southern
Junction?
Junction 716.
Southern Junction
Oh.
716.
Yep, that's the buff right there, 716.
Exactly.
guys.
Go Bills, right?
Yeah, I know.
Go
Bills
Bills.
Mafia. All right.
All right. See you guys.
Awesome.
We're going to sign out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us online. We're ETDT Official. That's on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, ETDT Official. And thank you guys for today's episode. We'll see you next week for Ali and Mai's blind bourbon tasting. Very excited.
I'm going to go blind. The blind tasting, I'm going to be like, I can't
blindfolded.
see. Dude, I'm going to like, the alcohol's
Awesome.
going to take away my sight. I'm going to lose
Nice.
the power of vision.
Cheers, guys.
Peace
All
out,
right, guys.
Oh, man. You guys had a lot of fun. Take it easy, guys.
See ya.